Well, apparently we are live, and hello, 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 and happy Sunday, everyone. It is February 16th, 2025. Very excited to be here with you today. I'm just checking in to make sure that I am streaming live here on Facebook with each and every one of you. Very excited. Took a little while to get here as usual. I don't know. Technology is always so interesting, can we say? So I am here and want to welcome all of you for being here as well. If you are here with me, do me a favor and share, like, and comment. Let me know that you are here as I'm doing right now, just sharing this out. Let your friends know that we are here. We are here, we are here, we are here. So again, like I said, I'm really, really excited to be here today. Just taking a minute just to bring in some folks, let people know that we are here, we are ready to go. And do a quick introduction before we actually do dive in. So bear with me a moment. All right, so let me just take a minute just to say hi and welcome you all in. Hello, hello, hello. I'm super excited to be here with you. If you're not sure what it is you're watching and who I am, let me do a quick intro. Reverend Joanne Inju Barry Cologne. I am the founder of Holistic Fitness NY. I'm your holistic certified personal trainer, holistic integrated teacher, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, and card reader. And today I have the proud honor of showcasing 6 amazing speakers that will be sharing with you their journey, their story, their wisdom, their insight, their resilience, even for that matter. There's such a blend of information that's going to be coming through today. We start off with trauma. We move into, I like to say, home decluttering and home decorating, and then we move in and end the evening off with some intuition and healing modalities. So I would say that's a nice mix, wouldn't you? So why don't you just take a moment, get yourself a cup of tea, coffee, whatever it is you drink in the morning, as we will be here together throughout the day. I want to just give you a breakdown of how this is going to work for today. Is to start off with, each speaker will be speaking for about 50 minutes. There will be a Q&A segment that will take place the last 10 minutes of each piece, where we will come off it for me live. Oh, I just realized I did not hit the recorder. Let me get that recorder going. Bear with me. And all these little things I have to remember. Of course, come on. Come on. Of course, we want to. Come on. I froze. Come on. Come on. Oh, come on. This is awful. Come on, Mom. Unfreeze it. All right, apparently we seem to be back on again. My apologies for that. I'm just trying to get things going so we can flow. All right. Now that you all know that this meeting is being recorded, my apologies for the delay. As I was saying, let's make sure that technology is such a fabulous thing, isn't it? You gotta love technology, people. You really do. I know I do. Anyway, as I am here, let me just introduce myself again for those of you who are just popping in, and I will go and make sure I am streaming. It says I'm streaming on Facebook. It says I'm recording. We're getting off to a really great start. What do you say, people? How about we all just take a moment just to send out positive energy for this broadcasting? That things just flow easily with ease, ease, ease. Right? Trying to get myself back here. Very unorganized today, right? I know. All right, anywho's. So, I need to take a breath because I really need to get this working. Trying to get this working. How about we do this way? Technology is my friend, right? All right. So that may not be working so well just yet. I think I just have too much going on. Anyway, if you are here with me, I'm going to know that in just a moment once I go and check out my page on Facebook to say hello to each and every one of you. In the meanwhile, my system keeps freezing. I'm going to dive in with just a few minutes behind schedule for today, and that's okay. No worries. Everything will find its way in the perfect order, as they say. So I'm asking you just to take a breath and know that you're in for an amazing treat for today, as we do have 6 amazing speakers that will be coming on throughout the day. There are 30-minute breaks between each speaker, giving you an opportunity to get up, stretch your legs, go to the restroom, get something to eat, get something to drink, whatever you need to do during that 30-minute interval. We will be back on 10 minutes before each segment starts. So this next segment that will be starting shortly will go for a full hour. As mentioned before, I froze before that, there is a 10-minute Q&A, which will not be aired live. Therefore, if you did not reserve a spot on Zoom, unfortunately, you will not be able to participate in the Q&A portion. And that's just what it is. Sorry for that. There was lots of notice for our speakers to let everybody know that there was a Q&A segment that will not be aired live. However, I'm going to pull a card in just a second, and then we're going to dive into getting this event started for today. And I'm knowing that from this point on, things are just going to run smoothly. Yes, I like to say so. Smoothly, smoothly, smoothly. Getting back on, moving it along. Make sure this is where I am. All right, there we go. So I'm back on my Facebook page on my phone. I was back on my Facebook page on my phone. So if you are here with me, thank you so much for being with me. I appreciate you. And I'm going to pull a card. And then I'm going to be calling. I'm hoping that my people will start popping in. If my guests, if my speakers are on watching from Facebook Live on Zoom, please join me in the Zoom room. That would be appreciated. All right. Gonna pull the card for today and see what we need to know. What a beautiful card for today. We start off today with spiritual career. Now, when we use the word spiritual career, that does not necessarily mean it needs to be a healing modality. It could be anything that you enjoy doing, that if hypothetically speaking, someone told you you had to do it and not get paid for it, you would still be willing to do it. And that's what's called a spiritual career. The color is the throat chakra. So it is about how you express yourself, what it is you do say to yourself and to others as well. And if for whatever the reasons are, you have a challenging time expressing yourself, that may mean you need to do a little bit of work on your throat chakra. And I always say the easiest way to work on your throat chakra is by utilizing either a beautiful topaz, aquamarine, blue lapis, all to work on your throat. You can put a nice little pendant there, or a necklace, whatever have you, just to work on your throat chakra. The number 7 is all about the agreements that you have with one another. It's about bringing more balance into your day. It's about your contracts. It's about meditation. It's about quieting your mind. It's about bringing balance into your day. Now, when we have that double 7, which is 5, it's about the changes that you may have to undergo in order to create different agreements with the people that you have agreements with. So being mindful of that and thinking about the changes that you're willing to create will bring freedom into your life. And remember that sometimes there's some unpredictability that shows up first before the changes actually take place. So I'm just going to see where my first speaker is. Hello there, Ann. Good morning, good morning, good morning, Ann. Thank you for showing up here with me today. You missed the glitches that occurred in the first part of this. Good morning there. Good morning, good morning. So just waiting on my speakers to pop in and join me, as I saw that they were here a few minutes ago and they sort of disappeared. This will go eventually flow correctly. We just got to get everybody in. So bear with me a moment. And as I'm waiting for our speaker to come in, I'm going to remind everybody that this first segment will go until probably closer to 12 o'clock, as we're getting a little bit of a late start, which is okay. All technology's fault, as I like to blame it on. And that there is a Q&A segment. However, if you have not reserved a seat in the Zoom room, unfortunately, you will end up missing that Q&A segment, as it is private. And that's the reason why we have the Zoom room. That's the reason why you were invited to come join us. And if you been receiving the different scenes, the different posts about joining us in the Zoom room to reserve your spot, then you have your ticket to be there. All that being said, waiting for there goes my guest. Let's get her in here. Let's get her in here.
Okay, video.
All right, you are on. How are you, Ella? How are you today?
Okay, I'm doing well.
Excellent, excellent. We had a little slow startup for the day. Technology is always a fun thing to start the morning off. You're looking quite beautiful today. I love you in that color.
Thank
Gorgeous.
you.
Yes, yes. So before we dive into our summit for the day, again, just letting everybody know what we are doing. To the left of me, if it's on the screen, she's to the left of me. I have my first speaker here, which what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to have my speakers introduce themselves because I feel that they do the best job at introducing themselves. And then from there, we're going to have a conversation. In this particular segment, this will be based on a what I like to call an interview style conversation, where I will be asking Ella some questions about her journey, and she's going to be sharing her insights. Just going to grab one little thing that I need to get in front of me. If you only saw what my desk looked like. All right, so we're going to begin, everyone. So if you are here watching, great, great, great. And once again, Ella, did you get a chance to remind your friends to come join us in the Zoom room?
Yes, I did. I didn't see anybody there yet.
Okay, and did you get a chance to share this right now? If you have not shared this, please take that moment to do so. Share it out.
Okay.
Okay, please share it out on your phone so everybody knows we are here. We all have to do our part. We all have to share, comment, let everybody know that we are all here.
Okay.
And then we're going to get this going.
Okay. Okay, here we go.
All right,
Share.
perfect, perfect. Perfect. So Ella's topic today, and I'm gonna have her introduce herself, is about from PMDD to joy, and we're gonna kick it off. We're gonna kick it off with the first big question: is what is PMDD?
PMDD is a premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it's a very severe form of PMS. And it really interferes with a woman's life when they have it so severe. Yeah, the reason I'm talking about it, even though it's years and years since I had that problem, I was with a group of younger women and they were talking about the cycle and this and that, and none of them heard of PMDD. And even though they might not have PMDD, most women do suffer from PMS, and there are things you could do without taking medication and such to help you and let your life run smoothly.
And what are some of the symptoms of PMDD?
Okay, symptoms: rage, can't pay attention, tremendous anxiety. Like when you have it very severely, walking down the block or driving to the corner is like overwhelming. And it comes on with every child. I've read that every pregnancy you have, it gets a little bit worse. So when I have two sons who are 7 years apart, and in the first part of my marriage, it was less I always got a bit of PMS, like feeling tired, agitated, cramps, but not so much the emotional baggage that came with it. And then when I had my second son 7 years later, it just kind of like spiraled out of control. My life couldn't function normally.
Now, at what age? Now you said that this occurs obviously during pregnancy. At what age did you realize that or what age were you diagnosed? Not even realized, but what age were you diagnosed with PMDD?
Okay, well, at the beginning, in when I always had something, but it just wasn't severe. I always had something where I was tremendously depressed. I would want to quit school, break up with my boyfriend, all very intense emotions. And then
Now,
2 days later, I
when you say that early on, and obviously this is before marriage because you just said that you
yeah,
would want to break up with your boyfriend. At what age did you first experience these emotional? I'm going to refer to them as emotional up and downs.
ever since the first day I got my period.
Oh,
So
oh,
at I
so it came
guess
on that.
12, at about 12.
Oh, okay,
Okay.
okay.
But
And
you know, I
what are some of the signs that you can share with us regarding um, prior to being diagnosed with PMDD? What are some of the signs that you notice that perhaps you could share with young girls who
right,
haven't gotten your cycle yet?
severe depression for like about a week. But you could do a lot of damage in a week, if you're not just feeling I just feeling overwhelmed with everything, just very short with everybody. Very I used to feel like, well, when I was older, because I had, I guess, more responsibilities, I used to feel like I was going to explode. It was, even when I think about it now, I could start to cry just remembering it. But I look and say, well, thank God it's over. And it's good that I could share this, that people don't have to go through what I did. Now, when I was 13, 14, 15, then in my 20s, I used to go to the doctor and I would say something is not right. And they would kind of say, oh, it's a part of growing up. Yeah, well, all women's part of being a woman. And I'm saying, no, no. And nobody would take me seriously.
And
And then,
I'm glad you bring that up because again, when we talk about the word depression, nowadays the word depression is spoken about. Back in my day, and you're a little older than I, so even back in your day,
mm,
we didn't speak of such terminologies. We didn't speak of them. Doctors very rarely ever diagnosed, at least to the understanding that I have. It's more mainstream now where we hear more people speaking about depression. So again, this might have, at least the way I'm hearing it and feeling it for you, this might have been more of an intuition that kicked in for you to think, well, there's that you were experiencing depression because again, back in your time, doctors did not speak about depression. The depression became more of a diagnosis more in the 80s, 90s, and the 20th century, not when you yourself experienced your first cycle. So let's talk a little bit about what causes the PMDD based on the physical, the metaphysical, and the emotional components of the three, starting with the physical part of it.
okay, now when later on, and much later, when I was maybe in my 40s, was something, it was hard to hold down a job, and it was very, very hard to keep a consistent, as you'd work and then a month later you'd be back in where you started from. Plus I was very short, and I burnt bridges because I was nasty, and that's not really my personality. I just used to get that way. But anyway, one doctor, well, what happened is that I finally went to a woman therapist, and she believed me, and she kept a log of when I came in without me knowing when I came in and my mood. And she said, this is definitely some type of physical problem, you know. And really, no, back then, no doctors, like I was 40, 30 years ago, doctors didn't really think of treating it. They really would just kind of, I felt like some of them were like laughing, like, oh yeah, right,
Well,
that
I
kind of
don't even
stuff.
think it's a matter of they didn't treat it. I don't think they understood it to treat it.
Okay,
You
so
can't
anyway,
treat
well,
something unless you understand it.
so she found a doctor she was friendly with, and he decided he would give me antidepressants. First, they put me on birth control pill, hormones, all of that kind of stuff. And nothing really helped, but the antidepressants did help where there wasn't such an extreme shift in moods. And mind you, it only lasted for like a week. That's all it was, but it was, I felt like I had no control over anything.
So was that the only mood swing you had was depression, or were there other emotional
Rage,
experience?
rage,
Rage.
rage. Like at work, like all of a sudden one day somebody would do something that they always did and they didn't like, but um I couldn't look it that day, I couldn't look it over, and I'll start screaming, and then I get written up at work. Yeah, it was just horrible. And I do like I've held down some pretty good jobs. So I managed, but it was it was not easy. And then sometimes, people like family members, oh, she's just a spoiled brat. If she doesn't get her way, she acts like that. And I would be, no, that's not it. That's not it. It was horrible. It really was. And not only that, it affects your marriage and your children. They don't know what to expect from you. Some days you're all like, what? Like that kind of thing. It really, and that's why I feel so strongly that it should be addressed, that there are things you could do. Now, when we talk about the metaphysical, now that, see, back then I didn't know anything about it, but and I understand it has to do with the sacral
And
chakra.
before you dive into the metaphysical aspect
Okay.
of PMDD, just because there's more people showing up on Facebook, I just want to
Okay.
bring them into the loop that today we are chatting with Ella, and her topic is PMDD to joy, and she's sharing her journey regarding her experience as a young girl, experiencing what I like to call emotional mood swings. And there was a reason behind the emotional mood swings. It wasn't just related to the what we might call the normal moon cycle, the menstrual cycle, as we call it. And she's now here sharing this journey, this story of hers. So for young girls or even older women who might have experienced the same symptoms and didn't even know they were experiencing PMDD. Lots of letters coming in with this. And in a second, Ella's going to again address the letters. So for those of you who are coming in just now, just joining us, you'll have a better understanding to the PMDD and what those letters mean. And then she's going to go a little deeper into the metaphysical explanations behind the PMDD. So go ahead, Ella.
Okay, PMD stands for premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and it's a very, very severe form of PMS. And it's mostly emotional, even though there are physical symptoms. Actually, I thought the physical symptoms would probably have been easier for me to handle than the emotional
Well, what's some
because
of the physical symptoms? You mentioned the emotional, which is the
well,
depression, the
cramps, the
rage.
regular cramps, bloating, that kind of thing, the headaches, things like that. And I did get that once in a while, but this overpowered
So for
everything. It
you, it's
really
more,
does interfere with your life. It does.
yeah. So for
And
you, it's
that's
more the
why,
emotional components versus the physical components.
right, okay. Yes, I agree.
Yes. All right. So let's talk a little bit about the metaphysical.
Okay, well, now that I am learning more about the metaphysical, it it has to do with the sacral chakra not being balanced. And that's the one that has to do with creativity and sexual and uh, creativity mostly. And I thought that if I knew what I know today, that maybe could have solved a lot. And then I was reading up on some things, and they were saying that the whole menstrual cycle is shedding the old and bringing up new, and
Oh, exactly. What does that mean? Shedding the old and bringing up new. What does that
well,
mean?
like you shed the lining of the uterus and a new one forms, and that said, when I read that now, I was saying that's exactly what it is. I think my body was telling me I had to get things balanced, start anew. Like that was the message behind it, that you need to take care of yourself more and not take care of everybody else.
Now,
And
would you say it to be true when we talk about the sacral chakra? You mentioned that it's definitely associated with your creativity. It's attached to your sensual and sexual energy. It does it also have a lot to do because when we talk sacral chakra, sacral when the sacral chakra is blocked, and I'm guessing when we're experiencing this type of symptom that judgment, shame, guilt, blame, does that fall into any of
oh,
that?
well, definitely, I was nasty to my mother, which I mean, she understood. I wasn't, just during that time period. But what happens is that, I would have one good week out of the month because I'd be so vile and short with everybody, and then they would back away from me, and I wasn't feeling bad again. And then when they would get out of it and everything would start being normal again, it happened again. So it was hard on everybody who was close to me. I don't think that, like, a few friends who were very close would sometimes get my wrath, but no, usually my mother, my husband, and my children, and my poor sister.
Yeah.
So anyway,
So
but
when you think
I'm
about
sorry.
the metaphysical aspects of things, understanding the metaphysical aspects and the concept of the sacral chakra, again, what tips, what tools can you give young women today? How to work with their sacral chakra, how to clear those blockages, if in fact, because again, from my perspective, if they are experiencing PMDD and learning now metaphysically that it has more to do with the sacral chakra being blocked with the blocking their creativity,
Right.
judgment, shame, guilt, blame. What tips and tools can you give young girls today so they can work on clearing their chakra so they don't may not experience it as traumatically as you did?
Agree. Well, I would say, do Reiki, have Reiki done to balance your chakras formally, and think about it and journal what you're feeling and bring it to the surface and eventually talking about it in a peaceful way. And the Reiki, and every day to balance your chakras or, meditate. And also you could wear, I believe the sacral is orange. I forget the name of the stone. You could wear an orange stone because that'll bring the energy that might be calming or helping balancing. And I think that would be good. Be kind to yourself.
Now, since your experience with PMDD and all that you've learned so far about the physical, the emotions, the emotional up and downs, and of course now in your golden years, your, as they may say, in your seasoned years, understanding the metaphysical. How has this led you to the path of having more joy in your life?
Well, always, I didn't have a good view of myself because I would feel, oh, I just yelled at my mother and I hurt people's feelings and so I didn't have a good view of myself. And then when I started to work with you with the Reiki and we talked about things, I learned to forgive myself. I really, even though some people thought I could control it, I really couldn't control it. And there was a point that, like, I would be depressed, not because of the PMS, but depressed because I was so brutal, especially to my mother, and things, that kind of a thing. So I learned to forgive myself, and I'm a mother. And I say, my kids have said a few things to me I don't really like. And I say, well, they're feeling bad. I don't feel I have to persecute myself. I mean, I'm not happy or proud of that, but anyway. But they were like, I remember it was so bizarre. Like I was in graduate school and I was doing fine and everything was, and just one day I had this feeling I can't do this anymore. And I went into the dean's office, who was a woman, and I told her I can't do this. And she's saying, but why? And then she said, Ella, just come back next week. Don't do anything drastic. I feel that she was a woman. She knew something was going on, because I think we all feel a little bit of something. They say that you don't, the doctors told me that you don't produce serotonin or enough of it, and that's what makes you so depressed. Or so not balanced at all, to put it
Mm-hmm.
mildly.
That's,
But I've
so,
seen I just wanted to say I saw a joke on TV one time, and this woman said, they asked her what was her biggest fear. And she said, oh, there's no such there's no such thing as PMS. And this is what I'm really like. And I found that hysterical because it's so true. But in a way, it's so sad that people would joke about something that is so destructive to somebody's life. But I did laugh because it is funny.
well, I mean, in theory, the woman may have a point in regards to her
Right.
joke and her the realization to it. Because again, I mean, at least from my standpoint, the way I study things specifically on the metaphysical components of things is understanding that whatever it is that you were experiencing, I get a sense that you were highly intuitive, for one, and being highly intuitive as a child and not having the understanding of being highly intuitive can very well throw off the emotional components of things, because if you are feeling energies from other people, that can create that up and down of emotions, of feeling anxious or angry or frustrated, that can very well throw off your emotional state. That, and of course,
Okay.
can look like or feel like depression. However, when we think about our moods in general, everyday moods, the ups and downs that we do experience in our day to day and the interactions that we do have with people, moving into your journey, what were some of your practices that you did on a regular basis to help you move into a healthier state of joy, moving out of the state of feeling blue and gloom or overwhelmed or angry or even depression, for that word. I mean, when we think about depression, think about it as what's pressing you so much that it literally pushes you down. But we're not focusing so much on that as much as we are, what is the practices that you do now that keeps you in a state of joy? Because I'm sure, even though, yes, you're in your seasoned years, that you may still experience some of these emotions and you no longer have PMDD, which again, going back to what that woman said who made the joke about this could really just be who she is. If you still have some of these symptoms, it could be really who you are based on the intuitive being that you are. So, what are some of your practices that you do to keep your endorphins high? Because again, our endorphins are our happy juices that we take in. If we don't have them naturally, what do you do to bring that in? So, share with us your practice.
Okay, well, that's why I started working out because I felt I needed all the help I could get. And I started working out about in my 40s, and I'm still working out. And Joanne is my personal trainer, and we've been working together for 10 years. I try to eat, drink my water, do anything possible that will make me feel good and keep me going. I go to Reiki once a week. I meditate at home. I journal. I'm writing my story down. I like sharing because I this stuff because I think maybe if you even if it helps one young woman, I it's not as like when I went through it, it was totally unknown, but now there might be a lot of help. I just want to say that with what you said about being intuitive and all of that, yes, remember on my astrology chart, it said very intuitive. And I think that all along my body was well, that's what you were saying. My body was reacting to signals that I wasn't astute enough to pick up. But I do remember I told Joanne this that sometimes I don't think I'm psychic, but sometimes like I'll just know something's going to happen. And one of my friends who I worked with for many years, she would say, "You always call it right. How do you know?" And I said, "I don't know how I know." But so I do believe what you said very strongly about the intuitiveness and being overstressed and trying to be everything for everybody. But the working out I love. So that's good. And I like to talk. Today I'm talking a little bit more. Usually I love to talk, but when I do a presentation, I usually have a problem with it. But I think I'm doing okay today. Huh?
Yes, yeah. And when we think about the intuition, the symptoms, again, I always like to look at the other side of the coins of things. And I truly believe that when a symptom shows up in one's body, such as Ella speaking about the PMDD as a symptom, it really is about what was her body trying to tell her
Tell
to
her,
bring
right.
her into more of alignment. So again, the different things that Ella has mentioned, such as the depression, and she's mentioned that a lot. So that was basically the spotlight to her
And
PMDD.
the
And
rage also.
yes, although you mentioned the depression a whole lot more than rage, that was
Right.
a
Well,
highlight. Yes. So
right.
again, for those who are watching, pay attention to what it is your body is saying to you. And as I always say, there's always two sides to the coin. So yes, of course, get the diagnosis, find out what it is that may very well be going on with your body based on the medical explanation of it all. And then just like Ella, get curious and start to research what the metaphysical meanings are for each of the whatever symptoms you do have, because it's your body's way of really bringing you back into alignment. And in this case, for Ella, it's about her intuition. Although she says she's not psychic, I mean, when we really think about the word psychic, it's like, okay, even that has gone beyond its wildest imaginations to, okay, what is actually psychic? Ideally, it's tapping into your intuition and knowing and being and you pressing on the doctors, letting them know that no, there's got to be something going on, because I should not be feeling like I want to rip somebody's throat out of their bodies. And when you say the rage, that's like the image I get, is that you want to rip someone's throat out of
Oh
their
yeah.
body
Oh yeah.
at that point in time when something is going on. So that's that intuition of knowing and being able to press the doctor to say, no, we have to look into this a little deeper. And then again, commending the woman at your school that encouraged you to keep going and not to give up, because she probably had an inner knowing as well that there was something going on for you to just suddenly out of the blue just say, you know
Right.
what, I just can't do this anymore. And another really great message that you're delivering to the people today is that even though things may seem a little overwhelming, that doesn't mean it's giving you permission to give up or throw in the towel. So, what more would you like to share about your story regarding the PMDD that you have not shared, and moving into the state of joy? Because now that you're out of that, I'm assuming we like to agree that you are no longer experiencing PMDD, and that
No,
whatever the
not at
emotions
all.
are that stroll in is not necessarily related to your symptom of PMDD, more related to just bringing things back into alignment. Should we say that
I
to be
mean,
true?
right, right. I agree. Yes.
And what more would you like to share with us regarding your joy and your journey, and how all that you've learned up until now, how it's led you down the journey you're going down now?
Well, I'm experiencing, freedom because I was always doing for the kids or my husband or my mother, and now sadly my husband passed away and my mother's gone, and now I'm budding into what I wanted to be, what I want to be, and not what everybody else thought I should be.
And what is
And
that led you down your freedom to know what it is you want to be as opposed to what you should be? What is that you want to be?
well, when oh, what I, just doing what I want, not having to get up because I have to take this one here or do this, just being able to stay up all night if I want, just silly things. But I really never got a chance to do that before. And so there's a lot of freedom and, working with you. Like if you remember when we spoke about retirement, I thought, well, this is the end of my life. I'm going to be sitting around waiting to die. And then when working with you, I felt joy that, what are you kidding? There's so much you could do. So I'm looking forward to it. Instead of looking at it as an end, I'm looking at it as a beginning. The story isn't over yet.
Exactly. And I'm so glad you said it that way, because again, there's many people who will be watching this, who's watching live and also watching on the replay. And many people, there's so many. I mean, that's a chapter of life that many people will experience in regards to ending a job or moving into retirement. I love it. I love an expression I heard from a woman who also is in that transition of leaving her job and moving into a different chapter. And the expression she uses is that she's replanting. She's replanting or reseeding. And that's exactly what it is. I like to believe that anyone that has had a traditional job, we'll call it that, a traditional job,
Mhm.
will eventually get to that point where that traditional job is going to end, whether it's due to quote unquote age, or perhaps the job is faded out, or the company you work with, they no longer need you, whatever the reasons are, eventually it's that gateway that allows you, that gives you permission to move into your soul's work of what you're here to actually do. And I think that's exactly where it is. And you're moving into your soul's work at the ripe age of 70. And I think that's a beautiful example of letting everybody know that there's no such thing as like what age, how old should I be when I move into my soul's work? Any age. Once you move into that space, as Ella said, she's retiring. She's not dying. Not dying. There's still a lot of life to be living. And now she has the freedom to do what she chooses to do with no expectations other than from her coach, her trainer, her healer. There's a little bit of expectations here in regards to just being able to witness all that she's capable of doing. It's a matter of now having her to do what she's capable of doing. So just kicking her butt to make sure she gets there. So Ella,
Yeah, you do that.
do you have any final words that you would like to leave the audience with?
No, I just hope people got something out of this. I'm sure they did for
Yes,
their
yes,
daughters, granddaughters.
exactly. And yes, because this is not something that is just based on Ella's generation. The key component, as we said earlier, when Ella first got her cycle, they didn't really speak of these symptoms back then. They didn't even speak of these symptoms when I got my cycle. Now with Ella and I think that, and without going into detail, I think there's about maybe a 15 to 20-year difference in age that only now, in the last maybe 10 or 15 years, have we been hearing more and more and more about different medical diagnoses that we never heard before. So younger girls have a much better advantage than we did. We're now, and not only the medical diagnosis, but now they also have the metaphysical understanding that they can look at both and get a better understanding of who they are, not just from the human perspective of things, but also from the spiritual perspective of things. And considering we are both with spiritual beings, having multitudes of human experiences. And I'm so glad that Ella had a chance to experience the PMDD, because without that experience, she wouldn't have gone through the journey she went through to get to where she had to go to get to here. You want to share a little bit about that journey you went through? All that you've learned in that journey? You do have a little bit of time, and since unfortunately there's no one in the Zoom room, there's no need for Q&A, so we can dive a little bit more deeply into that journey if you want to. I mean, if there's more for you to share about, or you feel like you've shared a big portion of that journey.
Well, the journey was from really not liking myself. And like I had a friend say to me, I would go everywhere and this, and then she said, Ella, I never knew somebody who tried so hard to be well. So I persevered, and got to where I wanted to be. At that point, I raised two children who are productive and good people. And, I took care of my parents, and I did all that with having this. So I'm kind of proud of myself, because I feel that in a different way, I was a bit handicapped, but and I kind of got through it. So I'm
Yes,
proud of myself. And I didn't always look at it that way, but with working and with you, and I'm saying, gee, I'm only looking at the bad things. Look at all I accomplished.
exactly.
So I'm have a different, I'm proud of myself, in that, or not proud, whatever the word is. I
Proud is a
feel
good word.
better. Right,
Proud,
okay. I
proud is a
feel
good word.
better
Yeah.
about myself. Even
Mhm.
that, like getting through graduate school, that was grueling, working up to CFO, and well, that came later in life. I say, wow, but I never looked at myself as accomplishing anything. And I
Yes.
always thought I was a burden on everybody, because
Yes.
in a way I thought. And sometimes
Yeah.
my mother would hear my voice on the phone and she'd go, oh no.
Yes. Well, the one thing that Ella is definitely showing here is that there is no timeline to when one accomplishes what they need, what they came here to accomplish. Whatever it is that's supposed to be accomplished will be accomplished through the journey that you go on, and through Ella's journey of PMDD led her down the road to experience all that she experienced, where she had to experience a sense of forgiveness, not just forgiving her family members, but also forgiving herself through the journey she
Giving
was
myself,
on.
yeah.
And then literally, as she just stated here, really, like, for the first time ever, I think it's the first time she's ever said she's proud of herself, of all that she's accomplished through leading up to this point, and so much more to come now that she's in the lane of freedom, and she's going to be able to do what she came here to do, as I like to say, living her best life now, and enjoying the next chapter of her life. So I'm so glad that I get to witness this next chapter. And I'm so glad that you were brave enough to come here and share your journey of PMDD and your journey of joy and freedom and introducing everybody to these different terms, the metaphysical, the PMDD, the emotional ups and downs. Because again, through your journey, through your story, there's somebody out there that needed to hear this, that's going to see things in a different way and perhaps continue their journey as well based on your story. So it's so important for everyone who is watching, whether you're watching on the replay or with us live, that if you have a journey that you felt was horrific and that you learned a lot about yourself and you are moving through this different lane of an experience from your journey, it's important to share it because you just never know. There might be that one person that's been sitting at the edge of their chair waiting to hear from you. And all it really is a matter of one person. You don't need to change the lives of 1,000 people in one day. Changing the lives of one person every single day will lead to the thousands of people you change in a lifetime. So Ella, thank you so much. Is there a way people can contact you, email address, and are you on any social media platforms that you would like to share with people?
I'm on Facebook and Instagram, and my email address is ellapnyc@gmail.com.
Awesome. And for those of you who are watching, whether you're watching this live with us or you found us on the YouTube page, feel free to reach out to Ella if you have questions, especially if you are a young girl or you're a parent of a young girl and you need some assistance in regards to whatever she may be experiencing. Do note that Ella did not say that she was a doctor or that she is a therapist. So please note that the advice that she will be giving will be based on her own hands-on experience, and that if you do feel that your child, your daughter, does need a professional support, please reach out to your physician. Let them know. And if all else goes wrong and your physician is not there to support your child, please reach out to Ella and I, as we can definitely stand and support you on her journey so she does not have to suffer and that she can better understand who she is from a soul level. So again, Ella, thank you so much for being here with us today. And I'm hoping that you will continue staying with us throughout the rest of the day, as our next speaker will be coming on at exactly 12:30. And that's a continuing of a beautiful story of trauma that leads into a journey of resilience as well. So Ella, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you later.
Okay. Okay. Bye.
Bye bye.